Nobody wanted old reliable. Keys in it. It's got enough gas to get you somewhere. You're gonna need a tetanus shot for sure. See, reliable. So this video here is about a trip to Cherry Hill Volkswagen to pick up a high failure rate item. Ready? It's really not much bigger than my thumb. Actually, not much bigger than my thumb. You want to know how much this part costs to fix your Volkswagen? This is a high failure rate. This is the cam position sensor for bank 1 to the tune of $97.32. You ready? No joke. $97.32. And it's not a recall item. How about that? So I said to the parts people when I was here, I said, it's kind of cool that you guys don't have bags or boxes for your small parts. Because every time I come here to get something, it's usually not in a bag or a box. He says, typically, APOP means it's a very popular failure rate part that they don't have bags for. And I said, well, would that be excessively overpopulated? He said, yes. I was like, well, that answers my question. But this is just a little baggie that you would get like at the dispensary probably. But for me, for $100, I get parts in the bag. Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's expensive. Teeny tiny little part, $100. That's why I said, eventually, it's going to be very, very, very expensive. If it isn't already now for most people, that to go get your car fixed, even at an aftermarket shop like myself, which there's plenty of savings and value in a shop. Oh, look at this, there's a little smoke shop. If you were going to the dealership and you had to pay out of the pocket, you're overpaying for the same repair. So if this customer went to the dealership for this Volkswagen for the diagnosis, right? That's already double, if not a double and a smidge more than our diagnostic charge. And then the part, and they're not going to sell them the part for $97. That's my cost on the part. And then their labor rate at $250 or $300 an hour. And there's at least $300 or $400 of instant savings getting the same exact job done with the same exact part, just not done by the same exact person or brick and mortar, if that makes sense to you. So yeah, huge savings. And we're putting in an OEM part, and it's a high failure rate. So what does that mean? It's very possible, I think this is a 2021, that this sensor probably won't make it 30 or 40,000 miles, because he didn't say they updated the sensor. I mean, they obviously could make it a lot larger, but you know, they want it to fail. But how about that? He said, high popular fail parts usually don't come in boxes or bags. Man, they must have bins of parts at Volkswagen. I know when I went to BMW, when we were doing a lot of BMW valve covers and things like that all the plastic tubes, they had bins of plastic tubes, like, because it's mostly the same crap on every car that they need. It's like, all right, I need everything plastic on this BMW to take the valve cover off because it's all going to break in my hands. And they had just bins of plastic tubes and plastic fittings and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, they know what they need to go in and out of a car with 100,000 miles of everything's made of plastic. It's like you trying to walk through a store made of glass that you can barely walk through. That's what it's like fixing some cars today. So Wednesday, I might take off. How about that? I wanted to see if my brother can take off. Well, he's the boss, but he's like me. We just want to work. And I know Wednesday's just going to be a dud at the shop, and I don't really feel like being aggravated all day. That I was thinking about going gold prospecting. April reminded me last year that on Thanksgiving morning that my brother and I went gold prospecting. We came home at 4 o'clock. She was so mad. I said, I won't do that this year. It's just such a boring day sitting around not getting anything done. And you know, you can only exercise so much. You can only lay in bed so much. For me, before it's like, all right, I'm bored out of my mind. As soon as I'm bored, it's time to take a nap. I guess Cherry Hill's waking up a little bit. Mr. Tire got a couple cars. Shame that Pep Boys is done. I actually heard that they're closing their service departments too. I guess we'll see. Really love that building, just as my personal little spot right there. Alright, let me get off the phone and drive before somebody pulls me over for making a video. Have a great day.